Got this movie called The Last Chase, and it's a Porsche movie, and it stars Lee Majors, and you can see the guy from Rocky is in here too, Mickey. And I don't know if this is even a legit copy, but I bought it from online. It's the only copy I could find. But this box looks like a bootleg. It even has this bootleg looking security tape on top. Here's what the disc looks like. Again, I don't know if this is bootlegged or not. Does not look legitimate though, but it's the only way I can watch this movie. Here's the menu. Just play movie and scene selection. Hey guys, Alex Kahn here, and I want to talk about the movie I just saw called The Last Chase. And I haven't seen many reviews on this movie on YouTube, so I thought I'd talk about it a little bit. Anyways, Last Chase was made in 1981, and it starred the at the time famous actor Lee Majors, who's actually still pretty relevant today. He was in the $6 Million Man and The Fall Guy and some other shows. Oh, he was also in The Norseman, which I didn't really like that movie too much, but I love Lee Majors. He's a very great actor. And it also stars Burgess Meredith. The name might sound kind of odd to you, but he played Mickey in the Rocky franchise. He's like, "Get up, you bum, 'cause Mickey loves you." And those are the only two people I recognized in this movie. But anyways, I wanted to see this movie because apparently this was a car movie, and it is. And it starred as the hero car was a Porsche 91710. And I wanted to see a Porsche in another movie because I don't know if you guys remember the old Steve McQueen movie back in 1971, Le Mans. That's probably the most iconic race car movie ever made. And that's one of the few race car movies I actually do enjoy. That might sound kind of strange coming from me. You know, I love car movies, but I rarely like racing car movies. I find them kind of dull. Except for Le Mans, Day of the Thunder, Rush. But anyways, I digress. I wanted to see another movie where a Porsche was the star of it, and this movie delivered that in spades. So this movie is set in a dystopian future where there was a giant plague that broke out, and this wasn't really connected, but they shut down all the oil factories, so they weren't really producing oil anymore, or something like that. I don't really know what the gist of it is, but as a result of that, they confiscated every car out there, and they put them all in junkyards. So cars are banned in the future, I guess because of the oil crisis. But yeah, there was also an epidemic, which I didn't really find relevant to the story, except that it resulted in the loss of family for Lee Majors' character, who was Franklin Hart. That's the name of his character in the movie. But aside from that, it didn't really play any kind of part in the movie. They could have just said there was an oil crisis, and that's why cars were banned. But anyways, let's talk about this movie. So yeah, I wanted to watch this movie because I wanted to see a Porsche in a movie, and the Porsche that they use for this is the Porsche 91710, and it's the 1972 configuration. Which apparently was considered to be pretty ugly, but I think it's pretty cool looking. Now, in the movie, they actually use a replica of the Porsche 917, and to me, it looked pretty good. But I've heard some people talking about how bad the replica looks, but it looked pretty good to me. I don't know. But the other major vehicle in this movie isn't a car. It's actually a jet. It's an F-86 Sabre. Pretty old school Korean jet, but you have to remember this movie was made in 1981, so they got their hands on whatever they could, and that was an F-86 Sabre. So the basic plot for this movie is, as I said, there's an oil crisis. This guy was supposed to get rid of his car, but in the prior to the oil crisis, he was a race car driver, so racing was always in his blood. So when they took all the cars, this guy, Franklin Hart, played by Lee Majors, actually kept his Porsche. And over the next 20 or so years, he was hoarding parts from car junkyards. So he eventually had a working race car, and I I don't know what his plan was to do with it, but his plan ultimately became to escape the United States or whatever it's called, and escape to the the free state of California, because in the free state of California, cars are not banned apparently. So he wants to escape there, and where he can drive cars and be who he really is. Because in this new society that bans cars, it's just not who he is, and he does not fit into that society. The society is very controlling, and I guess you can almost compare it to a totalitarian regime, where there's too much control from the government. So who wants to live in that kind of world where cars are banned? So this guy, as he's trying to escape, he picks up a passenger who he didn't want. It was one of the students that listened to him talk in one of his lectures, and the student's name was... Oh, I forgot what his name was already. I think it's McCarthy, something McCarthy. But the kid is actually a hacker. So back in 1981, I can't really think of many movies that showed computer hacking. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of any right now. So that was pretty advanced for its time. So he picks up this kid. The kid does not like the world that he lives in either. He gets bullied in school. So both him and the kid end up trying to make a trek in the Porsche back to, or not back to, but towards California. So the government catches wind of this, and they can't catch him in their golf carts. Yeah, the police, they drive golf carts now, so they can't catch him. So they hire this old Korean war vet, played by Burgess Meredith, and they give him an F-86 jet, and he uses his jet to chase down these two fugitives. But towards the end of the movie, the jet pilot becomes more sympathetic with Lee Major's character, and so he basically just plays along with them, but he really wants him to get away. And in the end, when the government has this tracking device that's gonna automatically destroy the car as it passes, this is a spoiler by the way. The pilot ends up I don't know. I probably don't want to spoil that for you. Let's say he tries to stop the satellite from destroying the Porsche, and we'll leave it at that. So there is a friendship between the pilot of the Saberjet and also Lee Major's character. So this movie is definitely not a perfect movie at all. There's so many flaws in this movie. There's so many illogical situations. For example, when the police are looking for the hacker kid, they go to Lee Major's house, who they think is harboring him, and he is. And they go, "Hey, have you seen this hacker anywhere?" And Lee Major says, "Sorry, I was sleeping, and I was waiting for family." I don't know why he had to say he was waiting for family when that can easily be verified. He could have just said, "No, I was sleeping, I didn't notice anything," and the police would have been gone on their merry way, and then that would have been the end of it. So that part's kind of illogical. Another illogical thing is when the kid first sees the Porsche in Lee Major's garage, his first reaction is, "What is that?" And Lee Major says, "Oh, that's a car. You know, back in the day we had cars." I can't believe the kid, even if he was born before the oil, or born after the oil crisis, there's no way he would not know what a car is. Because the police still drive, wheeled vehicles, those golf carts. That he must have some conception of what a car is. And also, they still have cars in all those junkyards. So when you pass these junkyards, are you really going to assume that this kid has no idea what a car is? So it was really illogical things like that made the script kind of bad. But it was still a fun script. And for car movies like this, I kind of like that hokiness. And I loved the situation that this car was in. It's the last, drivable car in the country. And so they spend the majority of the movie driving this Porsche towards California while being chased by a Saberjet. So it's a very fun movie. As I said, I don't really like race car movies, but the only other Porsche race car that you can watch in a movie would be Le Mans. That's the only one I can think of right now. Now, Le Mans is the exception to my dislike for race car movies. I typically don't like race car movies. So the reason why I liked The Last Chase is that it took this really awesome race car and it gave it a non-racing story, and I like that. I really do. I like car movies that it's got a car in it, but the point of having the car is not to be just in a race. There's actually a non-racing element to it, which I actually prefer myself. Anyways, I loved the movie. My review has to end soon because I only have 24 seconds left. I love this movie. I love the car scenes. You can see plenty of the Porsche in this movie. It's a beautiful car, even though it's a replica. And I love the performances by Lee Majors. And I can't believe there's not many reviews on this movie. It's a pretty good movie. I tried to find it. I couldn't find a legit copy. I found a bootleg copy. And it had this really awesome soundtrack. Sorry, I'm cramming everything in.